let me tell you something about my courtroom. It is not a theater. It is not a coffee shop. It is not a comedy club. And it is certainly not your living room. When you walk through those heavy oak doors, you are stepping into a sanctuary of the law. You are stepping into my house. And in my house, we operate on two very simple principles: truth and respect. If you cannot manage either of those, you are going to have a very bad day. I have been doing this for a long time. I have eyes in the back of my head, and I hear whispers before the sound waves even hit the air. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, gets past me. Today is a sentencing hearing. Now, if you have half a brain, you know that a sentencing hearing for a fatal drunk driving case is the heaviest, darkest, most agonizing type of proceeding we handle. We are not arguing over a scratched fender or a stolen bicycle. A life was taken. A father, a son, a fiancé. Jerome Zerker was 31 years old. He had 5 children. 5. He was driving his fiancée home when a 25-year-old woman named Amanda Kosal decided that her right to party was more important than the safety of every other human being on the road. She got behind the wheel, drunk out of her mind, crossed the center line, and smashed head-on into Jerome's vehicle. He was killed. His fiancée was severely injured. 5 children are fatherless because of one incredibly stupid, selfish decision. So you would think any normal, rational human being would think that the atmosphere in the courtroom today would be nothing short of a funeral. You would think the defendant sitting there in her prison scrubs and her family sitting behind her in the gallery would be hanging their heads in absolute soul-crushing shame. You would be wrong. I am sitting on the bench, looking out at the gallery. The room is packed. On the left side, we have Jerome's family. They are destroyed. I am looking at a mother who had to bury her son. I am looking at a sister who is clutching a crumpled tissue, her shoulders shaking violently as she steps up to the podium to deliver her victim impact statement. The pain in that woman's voice is enough to shatter glass. She is pouring her heart out, trying to explain to the court and to the woman who killed her brother the massive, gaping hole that has been ripped into their lives. It is a moment that demands absolute, unwavering silence and respect. But out of the corner of my eye, I see movement. My gaze shifts over to the right side of the gallery, the defendant's side. Sitting in the second row is a middle-aged woman. I know exactly who she is. It is Donna Klein, the defendant's mother, the woman who raised the irresponsible adult sitting at the defense table. Now, normally, when a mother watches her daughter get sentenced to years in state prison for taking a life, she is sobbing, she is terrified, she is broken. What is Donna Klein doing? She is whispering to the man sitting next to her, and then I see it. The corner of her mouth twitches. It curls up. She smirks. A second later, she leans over again, says something behind her hand, and lets out a visible, unmistakable chuckle. A laugh. In my courtroom, while a grieving sister is crying at the podium over the dead body of her brother, I blink. For a fraction of a second, I actually think my eyes are playing tricks on me. I think to myself, no, Judy, nobody is that stupid. Nobody is that remarkably devoid of basic human decency. But I watch her for another 10 seconds. The victim's sister is sobbing through her statement, talking about how her 5 nieces and nephews will never have their father walk them down the aisle or teach them how to ride a bike. And Donna Klein, she rolls her eyes. She actually rolls her eyes, leans back, and smiles at the man next to her. The internal thermometer in my chest does not just rise, it explodes. The mercury shatters the glass. I have 0 tolerance for criminals, but I have even less tolerance for enablers who treat the justice system like a joke. The apple, as they say, clearly did not fall far from the tree. It is suddenly glaringly obvious to me exactly why Amanda Kosal thought she could do whatever she wanted without consequences. She was raised by a woman who thinks a fatal car crash is a mild inconvenience and a victim's grief is a punchline. I do not interrupt the victim's sister immediately. I let her finish her sentence. I want her to have her moment. But the second she pauses to catch her breath, I raise my hand. Hold on a minute, I say. My voice is low. It isn't a yell. It is that dangerous, quiet tone that I use right before I drop the hammer. The kind of tone that makes the court reporter sit up a little straighter and the bailiff subtly shift his weight. The victim's sister stops and looks at me, confused. Take a breath, ma'am. You are doing fine, I tell her gently. Then my eyes snap over to the right side of the gallery. I lock on to Donna Klein like a heat-seeking missile. The whispering in the second row instantly stops. Donna Klein looks up at me. The smirk is still plastered on her face, half faded but undeniably there. She has no idea what is about to hit her. She thinks she is untouchable. She thinks she is just a spectator sitting in the peanut gallery, immune to the authority of the bench. I point my pen directly at her, the woman in the second row, with the smirk on your face. The entire courtroom goes dead silent. You could hear a pin drop on the carpet. The defendant, Amanda Cosell, turns around in her chair to look at her mother. Who do you think you are, I ask, my voice echoing off the wood-paneled walls. Do you think this is a joke? Do you think this is funny? Donna's eyes widen slightly. The smirk finally vanishes, replaced by a deer-in-the-headlights look of sudden panic. She shakes her head quickly, trying to play innocent. The classic pathetic backpedal of a bully who just got caught. No, Your Honor, Do not interrupt me, I snap. I have been watching you for the last 5 minutes. I have been sitting up here, listening to a heartbroken family talk about the man your daughter killed, and I am watching you sit there, whispering, rolling your eyes, and laughing. I wasn't laughing at them, she stammers, pointing a shaky finger. Baloney. I bark, leaning forward over the bench. I am looking right at you. Do you think I am blind? Do you think I am stupid? You are sitting there grinning like a Cheshire cat while a family weeps for a dead man. I have never, in my entire career, seen such a disgusting display of blatant disrespect. I can see the man sitting next to her, presumably another family member, trying to physically shrink into his seat. He wants no part of this. Smart man. But Donna Klein is still trying to defend herself, shaking her head as if I am the one making a mistake, as if my 2 perfectly good eyes deceived me. Get up, I command. She freezes. Excuse me? You heard me. Get up on your feet right now. I am practically vibrating with indignation. You want to act like a clown? You want to turn this tragic proceeding into a circus? Fine. But you are not going to do it in my courtroom. Not today. Not ever. Donna Klein finally manages to scrape her feet across the carpet and stand up. The woman looks bewildered, like I just spoke a language she doesn't understand. She is staring up at my bench, hands fluttering near her chest. I wasn't laughing at them, Your Honor. She lies right to my face. The absolute gall. Let me tell you something about liars. They always think they are the smartest person in the room. They think because they are saying the words, I have to believe them. They think I am a stenographer, just here to take down their garbage and smile. But my built-in radar for nonsense has been honed over decades, and this woman is pinging every single alarm bell I possess. You weren't laughing at them? I repeat, my voice dripping with cold, hard sarcasm. Oh, I see. What were you laughing at then? A private joke about the weather? Did the man sitting next to you tell you a funny story about his morning commute? While we are deciding the fate of a woman who ended a man's life? Because let me tell you, madam, the only joke in this courtroom right now is you. She opens her mouth again, her hand half raised. It was a misunderstanding. Baloney! I cut her off. I slam my hand flat down on the wood of my bench. The crack reverberates through the room. The victim's family, previously weeping at the podium, is now staring in stunned silence. I have eyes. I have ears. I have watched you for the past 5 minutes, and you have consistently, repeatedly, and deliberately mocked this proceeding. You rolled your eyes. You smirked. You laughed. You are a grown woman sitting in a court of law, and you are acting like a spoiled teenager in a high school cafeteria. It is sickening. The entire courtroom holds its breath. Donna Klein's face goes pale. She finally realizes she is not in control. She finally understands that she cannot talk her way out of this one with a polite smile and a blatant lie. I am not her friend. I am the law. And the law is looking right down her throat. I am the judge of this courtroom. I tell her, my voice dropping an octave, dangerously steady. This is not a playground. This is a place where we take the loss of human life seriously, where we respect the families who have had their worlds utterly destroyed by the criminal actions of your daughter, and your behavior tells me exactly where your daughter learned her complete lack of accountability. I see Amanda Kosal, the defendant, flinch in her chair. Good. They both need to hear this. You think this is funny? I ask, leaning forward, locking my eyes entirely on Donna. You think the death of Jerome Zerker is a laughing matter? You think 5 fatherless children is a punchline? No, she whispers. It is a tiny, pathetic little word, completely stripped of her previous arrogance. I didn't hear you, I snap. Speak up! No, Your Honor, she says slightly louder, her voice shaking. It is time for somebody to teach you how to behave, I tell her. And I mean every single word of it. I am not here to coddle adults who refuse to act like human beings, because clearly no one has ever done it before. You are sitting there enabling your daughter's terrible choices by proving you have no respect for the consequences. And I am sick to my stomach watching it. I look at my bailiff. He is already standing at attention, his eyes locked on me, waiting for the word. He knows my moods. He knows exactly where this is going. Whoever you are, whatever your name is, I am holding you in direct criminal contempt of court, I announce. The courtroom gasps. It is a collective intake of air from the gallery, the lawyers, and the victim's family. Donna Klein takes a physical step back, grabbing the wooden back of the pew in front of her. Her mouth falls open. She is genuinely shocked. You can't, she starts. I can, and I just did. I fire back instantly, pointing my finger like a loaded weapon. You are in contempt. Your behavior is contemptuous. It is a direct insult to the dignity of this court, to the memory of the victim, and to the grieving family standing right here in front of you. I look at the man sitting next to her. He is pale, practically vibrating with nervous energy. And you, I say to him, you want to sit there and whisper and snicker with her? You can leave. Right now. Get out of my courtroom before I put you in a cell right next to her. The man doesn't hesitate. He scrambles to his feet, barely grabbing his coat, and practically runs down the center aisle toward the heavy wooden doors. He knows a sinking ship when he sees one. He is gone before the door even fully shuts. I turn my attention back to Donna Klein. She is standing there alone now, trembling. The arrogance has completely evaporated. Bailiff, I say sharply. The bailiff steps forward instantly, moving down the side aisle toward the gallery. Take her into custody, I order. Donna Klein starts to panic. Wait, please, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I apologize. Too late, I say, my voice flat, completely devoid of sympathy. You do not get to be sorry only when you are facing the consequences. You were not sorry 5 minutes ago when you were laughing at a dead man's sister. You were arrogant. You were cruel. And you thought you were above the rules. The bailiff reaches her row. He places a firm hand on her arm. Step out, ma'am, he says quietly, but with absolute authority. Please, she begs, actually starting to cry now. The tears are flowing fast, but let me be very clear. These are not tears of remorse for the victim. These are tears for herself. She is crying because the bully just got punched in the mouth by reality. She is crying because she is about to be humiliated. You are going to jail, I tell her plainly as the bailiff guides her out of the pew. You are going to put on a jumpsuit, just like your daughter, and you are going to sit in a cell and think about how incredibly stupid and disrespectful you have been today. The bailiff pulls her arms behind her back, producing a pair of silver handcuffs. The distinctive click-click echoes sharply in the dead silent room. Donna Klein is sobbing now, a genuine, panicked wail, her entire body shaking as she is marched down the center aisle of my courtroom, the very same aisle the victim's family walked down with broken hearts just an hour ago. Your Honor, please, she cries out over her shoulder, her mascara starting to run down her face. I have a job. I have things to do. I'm sorry. You should have thought about that before you decided to treat a fatal sentencing hearing like a comedy club. I snap back, my voice cutting through her pathetic pleas like a serrated knife. You are an adult. Act like one. Take her away. The heavy wooden doors at the back of the courtroom swing open, and the bailiff practically drags her out. The doors slam shut, cutting off her sobbing. The silence that follows is deafening. The air in the room, previously thick with tension and disrespect, feels like it has just been blasted clean by a hurricane. I look out at the gallery. The defendant, Amanda Kosel, is sitting at the defense table, completely frozen. She is staring straight ahead, her face ashen, looking like she has just seen a ghost. Her mother, her biggest enabler, her cheerleader, has just been hauled off to the county lockup in handcuffs. I turn my attention back to the podium. The victim's sister is standing there, her hands gripping the edges of the wood. She is crying, but her posture is different. She is standing a little taller. She looks at me, and in her eyes, I see something that validates exactly why I sit on this elevated bench. Gratitude. Pure, unadulterated gratitude. Ma'am, I say, my voice softening just a fraction, returning to a tone of basic human decency. I apologize for the interruption. You have the floor. Please, continue with your statement. She nods slowly, takes a deep breath, and finishes her heartbreaking tribute to her brother. She speaks about his smile, his dedication to his 5 children, and the massive void his death has left in their family. When she finishes, she steps down, supported by her relatives. I turn my gaze to the defendant, Amanda Kosel. Stand up, I command. She stands, slowly. She doesn't have the smirk her mother had. She doesn't have the arrogance. She looks terrified. Good, she should be. You see what just happened in my courtroom, I ask her, my voice returning to its dangerous, steely edge. You see the direct result of a complete and total lack of respect for human life? I am looking at you, and I am looking at the woman who raised you, and the picture is becoming crystal clear. You thought you could drink, get behind the wheel of a 2-ton weapon, and destroy a family, and then come in here and have your family laugh about it. She shakes her head quickly, her eyes wide. No, Your Honor, I didn't. Quiet, I bark, leaning forward again. You do not speak unless I ask you a question. You are responsible for the death of a 31-year-old father. You are responsible for the catastrophic injuries to his fiancée. You have ruined lives. And yet, the environment you come from, the people who support you, think this is a joke. Well, I am not laughing. I pick up the sentencing report, slamming it down on the desk just to make a point. Your mother is currently sitting in a holding cell, I tell her plainly, and tomorrow morning she will stand right exactly where you are standing now, and she will answer to me for criminal contempt. But right now, we are dealing with you. And let me assure you, the sentence I am about to hand down is not a joke. I deliver the sentence. 3 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. It is the maximum the guidelines allow. She bursts into tears as the deputies move in to cuff her and take her away to begin her sentence. Another set of heavy doors slams shut. The courtroom begins to clear out, but my blood is still simmering. The sheer audacity of Donna Klein is stuck in my head like a bad song. I am not done with her, not by a long shot. The next morning, the courtroom is packed again. Word has spread. The media is here. They know I held a woman in contempt for laughing at a victim's family, and they want to see what I am going to do about it. I take the bench. I am ready. I am wearing my robe, and my face is set in stone. Bring her out. I order the bailiff. The side door opens. Donna Klein walks in. She is not wearing her nice clothes from yesterday. She is wearing a green, scratchy county jail uniform. She looks exhausted, her hair is a mess, and her eyes are red and swollen. She looks exactly like what she is, a woman who just spent a miserable, terrifying night in a concrete box surrounded by the reality of the criminal justice system. She stands at the podium, flanked by 2 deputies. She won't even look me in the eye. "Good morning, Miss Klein," I say, my voice dripping with cold authority. "Did you sleep well?" She shakes her head slightly, staring at the floor. "No, Your Honor." "I imagine not," I reply, leaning back in my leather chair. "It is not a comfortable place, is it? It is loud, the beds are hard, the food is terrible. It is a place designed to punish people who break the rules. And yesterday, you broke the rules of basic human decency in a spectacular fashion." "I am so sorry, Your Honor," she says, her voice trembling. "I was wrong. I was deeply, deeply wrong. I apologize to the court, and I apologize to the Zerka family." I stare at her for a long moment. I am listening to her words, but I am watching her body language. The apology is forced. It is the apology of a child who got caught with her hand in the cookie jar and is terrified of the wooden spoon. She isn't sorry she laughed. She is sorry she has to wear green polyester and sleep on a metal cot. "Baloney," I say quietly, letting the words sink into the microphone. It cuts through her apology like a buzzsaw through a piece of rotten wood. Donna Klein looks up, her eyes wide with fresh panic. She actually thought the tears and the trembling voice were going to work. She thought she was going to get a slap on the wrist, a stern warning, and a bus ticket home. She does not know who she is dealing with. "You are not sorry," I tell her, my voice rising just enough to command the entire room. "You are sorry you are standing there in handcuffs. You are sorry you had to use a metal toilet in front of strangers. You are sorry that you, for the first time in what looks like a very long time, finally faced a consequence for your deplorable behavior." I pick up a stack of papers from my desk, tapping the edges sharply against the wood. "Let me read you something," I say, my tone laced with absolute disgust. "I had my clerks pull the video from yesterday's proceeding. I watched it 3 times. I watched you sitting in that second row, Donna Klein. I watched the victim's sister, a woman who is completely broken, weeping at that podium. And I watched you." I point my finger directly at her chest. She flinches. "I watched you lean over to the man next to you," I continue, my voice steady and unforgiving. "I watched you smirk. I watched you roll your eyes. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I watched you laugh. You laughed at a family that your daughter destroyed." "It was a nervous reaction, Your Honor," she blurts out, instantly realizing her mistake as soon as the words leave her mouth. "A nervous reaction?" I practically shout. The courtroom goes dead silent again. The bailiffs subtly step closer to her. "Do you think I am an idiot? Do you think I was born yesterday? A nervous reaction is biting your nails. A nervous reaction is tapping your foot. Laughing at a grieving family is not a nervous reaction. It is a profound, sickening lack of empathy." I slam the papers back down. The loud smack echoes sharply. "You are a grown woman," I tell her, leaning forward over the bench. "And you raised a daughter who thought it was perfectly acceptable to drink and drive, kill a man, and leave 5 children fatherless. And watching you yesterday, I suddenly understood exactly how she became the person she is. She learned it from you. She learned that rules don't apply to her. She learned that other people's pain is irrelevant. She learned to laugh at the consequences." Donna Klein is crying harder now, shaking her head. "No, Your Honor. Please." "Don't please me," I snap back. "The time for please was yesterday. The time for please was when you walked into this courtroom and decided to treat a fatal sentencing hearing like a joke. You disrespected this court. You disrespected the law. But most importantly, you disrespected the Zerker family, and I will not stand for it." I pause, letting the absolute gravity of the situation settle over her shoulders like a lead blanket. She is staring at the floor, sobbing quietly into her hands, but her handcuffs make the movement awkward and pathetic. The court finds you in direct criminal contempt. I announce, my voice echoing with finality. I pick up my gavel. The wood feels heavy and righteous in my hand. You think this is a game? You think this is funny? I ask her one last time, my eyes locked on her terrified face. Well, let's see how funny you think this is. Donna Klein, for your blatant, disgusting, and utterly reprehensible behavior in my courtroom, I am sentencing you to 93 days in the county jail. I strike the block, bang. The courtroom gasps again. 93 days. It is a massive sentence for contempt of court. It is practically unheard of, but I don't care. I am not here to win a popularity contest, and I am certainly not here to coddle enablers. Donna Klein physically sags. Her knees buckle slightly, and the two deputies immediately step in, grabbing her by the arms to hold her upright. She lets out a horrified, wailing cry. 93 days? She sobs, looking up at me in sheer disbelief. Your Honor, please. I can't. My job, my life. Your life? I ask, my voice dropping back down to a dangerous whisper. You are worried about your life? Jerome Zerker doesn't have a life anymore. His 5 children don't have a father anymore. Your daughter is going to prison for 3 to 15 years. And you are worried about your job? I shake my head, utterly repulsed. You are going to spend the next 93 days in a cell, I tell her flatly, completely ignoring her tears. You are going to wake up every morning in that green uniform, and you are going to think about the fact that you laughed at a grieving family. You are going to learn respect, Donna Klein. You are going to learn it the hard way. Please, she begs again as the deputies begin to turn her toward the side door. Get her out of here, I order sharply, waving my hand in dismissal. I am done looking at her. Take her away. The deputies practically drag her out of the courtroom. She is sobbing uncontrollably, her chains rattling against the wooden floorboards. The heavy door swings open, and she is hauled through it. The door slams shut behind her. The silence returns. It is the heavy, profound silence of absolute justice, the kind of silence that only happens when a bully has been thoroughly and completely dismantled. I look out at the gallery. The Zerker family is not here today, but the message has been sent. The media cameras in the back of the room are rolling. They have recorded every single word. The entire world is going to see what happens when you disrespect a grieving family in my courtroom. I straighten my robe, gather my papers, and look out over the empty room one last time. My courtroom is not a joke. It is not a theater. It is a sanctuary, and I am the guardian at the gate. If you want to come in here and act like a clown, I will treat you exactly like one. Case closed.